What do you know it? Joe Rogan on his podcast attacked Elon Musk and Donald Trump. It's so bad that MAGA has actually had to try lying about it. And I also got another report that Elon Musk is polluting a majority black town in Tennessee, and no one is talking about it. We've got to talk about it. We've got to make sure people know. But first, before we get to those two stories, I want to give you some candy, because James Tallarico, who is a state legislator in Texas, Christian, progressive, gave a speech against Texas's bill where they are likely going to start making it so public schools have to show the 10 Commandments. Says here, Texas is set to become the largest state in the nation to mandate that every public school classroom display a copy of the 10 Commandments, with advocates fearing a further erosion of church and state, and the legislation sponsor making clear that's a separation she doesn't believe in. Well, it's in the goddamn Constitution, but what I love about what you're about to see is that James actually points out the hypocrisy of this bill and the way in which they're going about it, and it's brilliant, and it went super viral. Here it is.
The Sabbath.
Part of keeping the Sabbath holy is not working on the Sabbath.
That is, yeah.
What day is the Jewish Sabbath?
It is on Saturday.
And what day is it today?
It is Saturday. Here we are.
The Christian Sabbath is what day?
Sunday, in honor of the day that Jesus rose from the dead.
And we're scheduled to give this bill a final vote on what day of the week?
It's ironic, isn't it?
Would you be willing to postpone your bill so that we're not breaking the 10 Commandments by working on the Jewish or Christian Sabbath?
I love that you said that, because
you're saying that you'd rather tell people to follow the 10 Commandments than follow it yourself?
I would have rather have had this bill passed the other day. When
I mean, I know there are so many Christians who watch this channel, and thank you for being a Christian who actually follows Christian values. But it's so very Republican MAGA Christian to say you've got to do these things, but we're not going to do them. And I just want to say too that if we're going to put the 10 Commandments in schools, then what's stopping us from putting Muslim teaching, Jewish teachings, Satan worshiping doctrine in schools? It's a slippery slope. And I don't think it should be anywhere near schools, but if you're going to let one, you got to let them all. And I don't think Christians really want that. Christians just want their religion in schools, and it's outrageous. Donald Trump posted this yesterday saying that Joe Biden wasn't executed in 2020. Biden clones, doubles, and robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities are what you see. The President of the United States posted that Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and that he is the Joe Biden we see walking around as a clone. You cannot make this up. There's actually not much more you can say about this other than it is insane. It is insane. And the right is, as they are, because it's a cult, are just following along. And look at what they said here. It's ridiculous. We have to laugh. If we can't laugh, then what can we do? You know, because that was totally normal and all. And here they are saying that Joe Biden's wearing a mask.
North Carolina. And he was a very conservative guy who was very, very...
Oh my gosh, that's a mask.
African American when he died.
Holy cow.
He always had fights.
Yeah, it's a mask. It's a mask. Idiots. He's old. He's old. Skin is not as elastic when you get older. These people are... they vote. They all vote. They vote. We've all got one vote. They vote. You gonna vote? I'm gonna vote. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what the right put out there that got millions of views, 4.2 million views. Only one problem is that they left out the part where Joe Rogan actually attacked Donald Trump and Elon Musk in the work of DOGE. But first, let's show you this first part, because I actually was going to read you what Bono said, but I think it's more important just to hear it from his mouth about what happened because of the USAID cuts, and then I'll show you what MAGA left out. But first, here's this part.
Just recent report. It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will fuck you off. you will not be happy. No American will. But there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas. And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone. And so this, I don't know, what do you think? What is that? That's not America, is it?
Well, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
Right. This is the problem. The problem is, for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various, they don't even know where because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described it, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When Biden left office, when it was clear that Trump won, in the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places.
Right.
And there's no oversight, no receipts. Like the whole thing is, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of money laundering.
All right, so the right took that, ran with it. They were like, Joe Rogan is pushing back on Bono and telling about the lies of USAID, and that's actually none of that is, first off, none of that is true. Secondly, what they cut out was what Joe Rogan said afterwards, which is this.
We help the world. And when you're talking about making wells for people in the Congo to get fresh water, when you're talking about food and medicine to places that don't have access, like, no way that should have been cut out. And that should have been clear before they make these radical cuts. Like, there's got to be a way to keep aid and not have fraud. And you can't say we're going to kill everything so that there's no fraud. But then you're killing all the good, and you're doing it without letting anybody know it's going to happen. So it's not like they had 3 years to prepare. Let's build a new infrastructure. Let's make sure that everything's set up. We help the world.
Now it is really important that we share what he's really saying, because this only has, like I said, this has 1 million views, and the video that was deceptively edited has 4.2 million. So it's important that we spread this message that Joe Rogan is saying that the work that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have done to destroy USAID, which is one of the best investments and one of the cheapest investments our country makes to create goodwill and honestly just help save lives around the country being destroyed, is not great. And I think it's important that we say that. And MAGA has said that what Bono said was a lie. It's not a lie. Here's a fact check. Trump cuts to USAID has left 60,000 tons of food unused and rotting in warehouses, enough to feed 3.5 million people per month. The richest man in the world, the biggest drug addict in the world, is causing immense damage. U.S. taxpayers have already paid for enough ready-made meals to feed 1 million for 3 months, but there is no funding to ship the supplies before the food expires in July. The charity organization Action Against Hunger has reported that the cuts are already costing lives, with 6 children starving to death in the Democratic Republic of the Congo alone. So those are just 6 that we know about. Who else knows has been a casualty to this needless suffering, these needless cuts? Elon Musk is also hurting people who live here in the country. We got to talk about it. Here's friend of the channel, Aaron Parnas, describing what happened or what's happening in Tennessee. Here we are.
We have some news right now. Elon Musk's XAI company is literally polluting a community in southern Memphis, a predominantly black community, and not enough people are talking about it. XAI literally built the world's largest supercomputer in this small community in southern Memphis. It's producing smog that is polluting this area. I spoke to Keyshawn Pearson just recently about the impacts of this on the ground. He's one of the leaders of the organizers against pollution in the area. And he told me that he went to the community of Boxtown near this XAI facility, and it's taking him weeks to be able to speak normally again, to be able to recover after breathing in the heavy smog and pollution coming from Elon Musk's company. This is a story that cannot be forgotten, and I need your help to continue spreading the word.
Well, I'm spreading the word, and NBC and CNN have actually done some pretty good reporting on this. NBC is reporting that the NAACP are asking Elon Musk to immediately stop operating in South Memphis because it's out of compliance with environmental rules. And it says here, XAI has come under scrutiny in recent months for operating methane gas turbines at its Memphis facility to meet the electricity needs of the supercomputer Colossus. The turbines emit pollutants, including nitrogen oxides and formaldehyde, according to their manufacturer. It also goes on to say here in CNN that AI is immensely power hungry, and Musk's company installed dozens of gas-powered turbines known to produce a cocktail of toxic pollutants. The company currently has no air permits, appearing to rely on a loophole for temporary turbines, but environmental groups say the exemption does not apply and the residents are angry. Now we know why Elon Musk got into government for the little bit he did. Because do you think there's anyone willing to speak up in the government and try to actually punish Elon Musk for breaking the law and for polluting and for actually hurting Americans? Of course not. It even says here, the Trump administration is taking an axe to pollution legislation and slashes environmental justice programs and throws its full-throated support behind AI. I am all for AI, but it cannot hurt people. It has to help people. And there's also reporting in this story here that also said that there are government officials who actually are afraid of speaking up because they're worried of backlash from within the government and from Elon Musk. But I will say this, Elon Musk was bruised physically. He's been bruised emotionally. His brand has been bruised. This man is not invincible. Donald Trump is not invincible. They are still, they can be defeated. So it is just important that remember that all of these things matter. We can make a difference. And by speaking out and by informing others, we are making a difference. Don't forget that. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like in the video. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.